working in an organization, whether it is a corporate organization, whether it is a small and medium organization, or are working for an organization, uh, we all aspire to grow in our careers. What that means is that from an individual contributor at the beginning of our careers, we want to accumulate knowledge, accumulate experience, and become experts in the topics or the fields that we are operating in. And at some point in time, we hope that we transition from being an individual contributor to a manager, and from a manager to manager managing managers, and from manager managing managers to manager managing organizations. Each one of these transitions, which is from an individual contributor to a manager and beyond, requires us to do a step change in terms of what is it that we bring to the table and what are some of the skill sets that we need to exhibit in order for us to be successful in each one of those roles. So let's take, for example, you start early in our career when we are individual contributors. In this case, what we need is to build expertise in a particular topic. It could be accounting, if you're an accountant, it could be sales, it could be marketing, it could be any field for that matter. You need to build deep expertise in that particular field such that you are known for that particular topic. So you are known for knowing something. So that's the first level of expertise that we need to build as an individual contributor in order for us to kind of, climb the career ladder in an organization. So once you've done something really well for a period of time, there will be someone in your organization who will recognize the potential that you hold and wants you to kind of, step up and become a manager. Now, the shift that we need to make in this case is that to do it the way they want to do it and only step in when needed. It's not that you just delegate and then forget about it. So you still need to look at what they're doing, uh, provide them the requisite resources, the requisite support, the requisite training, so that they are able to learn how to become an expert by themselves. So from being an expert, now you are developing experts, right? So now let's assume that you've been successful at doing that, and now you are being invited to lead a team of managers. Now, in this case, what happens is uh, the skills that you need to succeed at this level are very different from the skills that you've had so far, which means that number one, you need to be and become more generalist in nature. How do you do that? Is through abstraction. So at every layer of this career ladder, we need to be able to think in a certain way. So at the expert layer, we need to be content rich, which is specialized in a particular domain. As we move into the management layer, the first level of management, which is manager managing people, what we need to do is not only be known or have the deep expertise in that particular field, but also to be able to understand and be able to build new people who become experts in that particular organization, while at the same time being able to integrate the work that the team is doing together to deliver the deliverables that the organization expects from your team. So slightly more abstract, but still very much rooted into the content or the topic in which you are an expert on. But once you move to the next level, the generalist nature of leadership kind of takes more significance. You need to learn how to manage your balance sheet. You need to know how to balance costs, resources. In this stage of your career, what is super important is your ability to allocate resources well. So, which means that you are looking at multiple people, multiple teams, identifying which team needs what kind of resources, which team needs what kind of attention, which teams need what kind of people, and what kind of systems, and you start working on those. not necessarily on the topic. So while you may not necessarily be an expert on all the topics that each one of the teams that you're leading is working on, but you need to be able to not only understand what each one of the team is doing, but at the same time be able to integrate the work that all these teams are doing together in order for you to deliver the organizational objectives. And at the same time, start thinking in terms of systems, start thinking in terms of resource allocation, start thinking in terms of stakeholder alignment, because at that level, it is super important for you to figure out what kind of alignment is needed, where is the organization going, and what are some of the challenges at a systemic level, at a organizational design level, and be able to address each one of that. Now, you get promoted, you do well at that level, and you get promoted to becoming a leader who's leading other leaders or an organization as such. Now, what skills that you need the most are your ability to set vision, your ability to see around the corners, your ability to look at the trends that are playing out, not only externally within the context in which you're operating, but also internally within your organization as well. Look at what the politics in the organization is happening, is going on. Look at who are your top performers. Look at identifying high potentials. Look at critical projects that needs to be assigned to critical people. Look at people development. Look at uh, you know, resource allocation from a large organizational point of view. Look at budgets. Look at where the money is going to come from. Look at cash flow. So, which means that your ability to understand a wide variety of topics which you did not train on, right? So when you started your career, you were either a pure finance person, pure sales person, pure marketing person, pure manufacturing person, pure supply chain person. But as you grow in the organization, you need to be able to learn the breadth and of all of these topics. You need to be able to understand how to read a balance sheet. You need to be able to understand what cost allocation is. You need to be able to understand what theory of constraints is. You need to be able to understand and abstract things from what they seem. You need to be able to understand how the system works. You need to be able to understand, the trends. So, which means that from being an absolute specialist, now you've become an absolute generalist. And the other thing that needs to shift here is you need to start thinking in terms of frameworks. You need to start thinking in terms of theory. What is the theory that is the most applicable right now in this stage of my organization? What is the framework that is the most applicable for us in this organization at this point in time? What are the leverage points that we need to look at? What are the constraints in the organizational value chain that we lead look at? And at that level, that is the most important thing that we need to look at. We also need to be looking at how do we, uh, you know, create, put in place systems and structures which lead to better leaders coming out of those systems and structures. So, which means talent development, which means leadership development, which means what are some of the trainings that you need to put people through, which also means that you're constantly looking at potential talent acquisition from outside of your organization. You're looking at giving opportunities for people who show the potential to grow into leadership roles. You're looking at you know overall alignment within the organization, making sure that you're communicating your vision uh, well, making sure that your leaders are in turn able to communicate the vision uh, to their members. Are you able to connect to the reality? So as you grow in the organization, your connect to the ground level reality becomes more and more reduced. So which means that we need to find and be intentional about going out and seeking feedback and understanding what's going on at the ground level. We need to put in place mechanisms to seek and sense what's happening at a grassroots level within our organizations. One interesting way that I've seen a leader do this is that they earmark every Friday or a particular day of the week to invite top talents from the ground level to have lunch with them. And in that, they, instead of talking about what they're expecting from those people, those top talents, instead they ask questions about what's happening, what's working, what's not working, what are some of the challenges that they face, what are some of the structural changes that they think needs to be done. By skipping all the levels in between and going straight to the grassroots levels, it enables us to stay grounded, number one. Number two, it also enables a culture where every leader at every level knows that they need to stay true to the vision that you have laid out as the leader of the organization, and make sure that everyone within their organization understands the vision and is aligned to that vision, because you never know when you end up having a conversation with that particular with someone from their teams, and you come to know that they're not aligned, or they do not know about the vision itself, so which puts a light on how effective a leader they are in turn. So these are all some of the things that we need to understand. So to sum it up, I think number one, as you move up in your career ladder, you transition from being a expert or a specialist in a particular topic to a generalist who understands everything, something about everything. Number two, you start abstracting your thinking. The ability to do abstract thinking needs to continuously improve. Uh, so the ability to think in terms of framework and theory needs to go up as you grow in your career ladder. Number three, you need to be intentional about your own ability to stay grounded in reality by being intentional about where and how you spend time with people. So, of course, there is a whole lot of things that you need to learn, unlearn as you grow in your career ladder. But this probably sums it all up. I hope you like this. I hope wherever you are in your career ladder, if you really want to step it up, you now know what exactly you need to do. Um, the other thing that I would seriously suggest that every leader at every level of your organization needs to do is to talk to people in your own level. So if you are a individual contributor, talk to other individual contributors from other different fields, so that you are starting to develop and understand the other fields as well, right from the start. If you're a manager managing people, talk to other managers in terms of to try and understand what are some of the challenges that they face and how do they deal with them. If you're a manager managing managers, talk to them, talk to your peers, figure out what are some of the challenges that they have. How are they dealing with those challenges? If you're managing organizations, talk to your peers in terms of other CEOs or other presidents or other senior vice presidents, and figure out what are some of the challenges that they're facing. How are they handling them? So this peer learning and a group of peers as a support group is super important, irrespective of which level of leadership that you are in. So that's all I had for today. Think about it. I hope and wish you all the very best for you to move to the next level of your career sooner than later. Uh, if you like what you heard, please do like and subscribe the video and subscribe to the channel. I will continuously, on an ongoing basis, talk about how can you become a leader worth following, who can build cultures worth belonging. This is Mukesh signing off. Take care. Thanks. Bye bye.